We're here at First Food and Bar at the Palazzo Resort. That's right on the Strip in Las Vegas. Tonight now, we have a special guest, as I mentioned earlier, Jack Giroux. I refer to him affectionately as the sommelier extraordinaire. Why? Well, this man, and I'm not saying it because he's sitting next to me listening with a half smile on his face, it probably knows more about wine than most people in the business, and that's no joke. He's traveled all over the world and worked with wineries during the harvest to see firsthand how a winery works and what their thinking is. And believe it or not, when he went down to Australia, which has been a couple years ago, I know he spent some time there and he come back and he said, you know what, they do things a little bit different than they do in California or in Washington or in Oregon. So that's why he does it. Doesn't make any money at it. In fact, it costs him probably a fortune to do it, but he's interested in doing it and doing it right. There's a man with a passion for wine. Jack, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate you taking your time and coming over here at First Food.
Wow. Thank you. You know, every time I come, you get nicer and nicer. I don't understand what the story is with that.
I don't think that's true necessarily. I'm only telling the truth. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to.
Well, you know, I've been with the Culinary Academy in Las Vegas for a while now. I put together their wine program, their sommelier program, their wine server program. It's the only program of its kind in the country, and it's probably the most intensive. I just do wine. I do wine.
Yeah, he does wine. Let's talk a little bit about Jay Lohr. Well, he also bought some property down in the Paso Robles area. That's what we call the Central Coast. Well, they do some things old school. They made wine, and I'm talking about California wine, a little bit different than they're doing it today. And Jack and I both agree when we tasted this Chardonnay tonight, this is old school Chardonnay. It's excellent. It's been aged in French oak and so on and so forth, malolactic fermentation. I'm going to ask Jack if he'd kind of give us a heads up on what this particular bottle of Chardonnay is. It comes from the Arroyo Vista area.
Okay. So basically, what we have here, this is, if you've all tasted it, it's pretty classic old-style Chardonnay. It's big, it's buttery, it's rich, and it's got a lot of tropical fruit characters to it. A little bit of that butterscotch on the back end. What happens is that this has got oak, but the oak is not intrusive because it was barrel fermented. Since it was barrel fermented and the malolactic, which is just a change from harsh acid to soft acid, all happened in the barrel, so you have much better integration. So this is, if I were to pick a wine that was like really indicative of where California wine has come from over the years, this would be a good example to pick.
You're right, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Now, the nice thing is the acidity here is not too intrusive at all. The tannin is not heavy. When you swallow this wine, it's lingering. It stays with you for a little while. And I think all those things are really good. Now, the chef, and we're talking about Chef Mike Gregson, who is a personal friend and the chef here, he's taken one of my favorite things to have with wine is cheese. And the cheese in this particular case to come with the Chardonnay is goat cheese. And so the chef has put together a goat cheese souffle. Now you think, goat cheese souffle? Never heard of such a thing. Well, you come to a good restaurant, you get good food. And he takes some of the dried cranberries, if you can imagine, and a little white balsamic vinegar and made a glaze with that. But this is not regular balsamic vinegar in terms of color. It's white. It doesn't have the red wine. It's before the wine got red, it was white, and that's what they made the balsamic vinegar out of. It cannot be called balsamic vinegar in Italy until it's been aged for 5 years or longer. Some of it's 25 years, some of it's 10, 15, it just depends. But the minimum amount is 5 years. You guys have had a chance now to taste this goat cheese souffle. What do you think? Huh? Yeah, pretty nice, isn't it? Would you ever think of serving this with a glass of white wine? Oh, I guess some of you would. But some of you are looking at me like, are you kidding me? I can't even spell souffle, not to mention make one. And it does seem to be a little complicated, but truly it is not that difficult to do. So we now know a little bit more about balsamic vinegar. both the white and the regular, if you will, or the dark. And we know a little bit about cheese and where it comes from and so on and so forth, and what it goes with. And we also know that the cost for a bottle of this is around $25 retail, and it has to be a pretty good thing. So we're here having a good time at the First Food and Bar at the Palazzo Hotel on the Strip in Las Vegas, where you should be. If you haven't been to Las Vegas in a while, shame on you. Come on over here. Right now is the best time to come because competition is keen, and so that means you and I can get a room and dinner and so on a lot less expensive than it used to be before, our economy went to hell in a handbasket. So have a good time. But first of all, we've got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Chardonnay and then Pinot. Be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.